Frank J. Avella with the Contending here with Hannah Cruz, Tony nominated for Chess. Welcome, Hannah.
Hi, thanks for having me, Frank.
Thanks for being here. How's Tony season treating you?
It's wild. I've only watched other people go through it, and so to go through it myself is really interesting. I'm learning a lot. I'm having a ton of fun, honestly. I like because I've seen other people go through it, I kind of knew what to expect. And I like have events that I'm looking forward to and events I've always wanted to go to that now I'm getting to attend, and so it's been really exciting.
I was speaking with Sam and Christiani from Two Strangers, and they were talking about just the insanity of doing 8 performances a week and then also being, you know, shuffled in this direction and that direction in a nice way, but it's kind of insane.
It is. I mean, I just keep telling myself it's only like 4 weeks and then life goes back to normal again. So it's like you just have to try and soak it up, even though you are being like scuttled here and there. Like yesterday was kind of crazy. I like had three separate things in different places and it's a lot of running around. And then, yeah, you have to find it within yourself to still do your show. So it's not for the weak, but it is fun.
Have you had a chance to see many of the other shows?
No, unfortunately. My husband has, and he gives me his reviews every time he goes and sees something. So I know what he likes, and I'm sure it's very similar to what I would like. But I'm sure you saw that we got our closing notice for next month, and so part of that I was like, okay, well I can go see stuff now.
Mm,
So there are things I'm really excited to go see Giant. I'm like itching to go see Giant. Um,
it's
and
amazing.
yeah, I've heard incredible things about it. That's like top of my list right now is Giant.
If you get a chance, see Becky Shaw and the Ballisters too.
Yes, Becky Shaw was the second, and then Ballisters. Truly,
Yeah,
like the plays this year are so exciting.
yeah.
So I'm excited to see as many as I can.
It's funny. I was at the show last night. It was my third time, and I got the closing notice at intermission.
Yeah,
And I thought, oh, this is weird, but I get to see it again, which was nice.
yeah, that's nice. Oh, I love that you were there last night. That's nice. It was a great show last night.
It
So
was
that's
a
good.
great show last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so let's talk about that. Okay, Svetlana's entrance in Act Two. She comes up from the floor, and I mean, honestly, the stakes are already pretty high, but you really raise the stakes. He is a man. He is a child. I mean, you just kind of blow the roof off the place.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's not, it took me a while to like feel comfortable entering the stage that way and entering the show and the story that way. It's like I never realized it until we were doing an interview with SiriusXM and Leah pointed it out. She was like, Hannah's the first person to be alone on stage. And that is like a crazy thing, an hour and 45 minutes into this show to introduce a new character and be like, go. And it took me a long time to like figure out what I needed to do in the time before to be ready to enter the story in that way and do it in a way that matched the pace of everybody else. And I did find it eventually, and I remember saying to my dresser like early on in the run, like I don't know if I'm ever gonna feel not like super vulnerable in this part. It's just like it's kind of a bare stage, and you're just out there on your own. But I have gotten to a place where I feel comfortable enough and safe enough to like play and do different things, and the material will like catch me. So that's a nice feeling.
But and your performance is sly is the word I want to use because
I like that.
I don't know how truthful she's being, and in certain instances, very enigmatic performance. Can you speak a little bit about finding that balance?
Yeah, it's complicated, right? I find her to be a very complicated person, and even I play it differently every night. Like last night was an I Love Him show. So, like, at the base of her, she does really love him. That does not mean that she does not want to kill him. That does not mean that she doesn't want to hit him. She's not a very stable person. Like, I picture her when he left for the last 4 years, having to do everything she can in very uncomfortable and probably unsafe situations to keep her family at the stature that they're at. Michael Mayer and I talked a lot about like she probably like had to get in bed with a couple of oligarchs who made her very uncomfortable and like probably didn't really enjoy her time with them to keep her family like safe, her two children and her safe. And so there's a lot of resentment for Anatoly, whether or not she actually loves him or not. But she knows that she has this task that the KGB has given her to get him to lose. And so she has to use everything at her disposal to get that to happen. And I have to fit all of that into that like tiny little scene with Nick and I, really. Because that's the only time you really see us together in real time. Endgame is like a fever dream.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it really like, we toss the ball back and forth and it really oscillates between like, if you did come back, like maybe we could find a way, but still like the minute he says something to me, we're drop. You know, if you've ever been with a partner for a long time, you know you have like certain triggers or something, and they say something to you, and all of a sudden you're right back into a fight that you had 3 months ago,
Yeah.
and it's like no time has passed since then, and so it's I'm grateful for a scene partner like Nick who's willing to like play with me like that. But even I am surprised by Svetlana sometimes, and like she really, I do kind of like let her off the leash some nights, and I do things that surprise myself. But I think that her task is always clear and her way to it is very complicated
Mm, mm.
because I just don't think she even trusts herself. Um, she's a very wild person.
I want to jump on that because last night it struck me that one night in Bangkok brings the sex on stage,
Yep.
and then Svetlana continues it. You
Yeah.
know, there's something very sexual about her.
Yeah.
That's so intriguing, I think, to the audience. No, no offense to to Anatoly and Florence, but they're not as sexual
Sure.
as Svetlana and Freddie are.
Sure. Yeah. And that was like something Michael was like pretty adamant about. That's like what he wanted Svetlana to like ooze in a bit. And that's why like you see Anatoly falter a little bit because like if there was one part of their relationship that was great, it was that part.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's why it's almost the last weapon she uses in her arsenal because I think she almost doesn't even want to go there because she knows how painful it would be for herself. So it is kind of the last line of defense for her. She tries talking to him. She tries like a more tender moment and then it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to go for any of that, then like remember what this used to actually be.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Let's backtrack a bit. I want to know about how you got involved in chess, how being cast, and what that whole process was like for you.
Yeah, so I was right about to go on my honeymoon to Greece. I had not worked in a couple of months, which to me felt like years and decades. And I was like, really wanted a job. And my agent called and asked if I would be interested in going in for Svetlana. And I, at that point thought, okay, well, she sings someone else's story and I know him so well. And at that point, I was trying not to sing like too much. I really wanted to do a play. I just finished shooting a TV show, and I really like the film and TV world, and I really just like ache to do a play. So I was like, okay, if it's not like a ton of singing, then sure. And I was like, but I'm gonna go on my honeymoon and I'll come back and then I'll go in. And so I came back from my honeymoon. I think the audition was like the day after we got back from Greece.
Wow.
And we also had a Connector reunion concert that evening. It was like a really crazy day to come back to. But I went in and I was very relaxed. I mean, given that Leah Michelle was in the room and I had to sing I Know Him So Well with her for my audition
Mm.
and do two scenes. One of the scenes was the Anatoly scene and one of the scenes was the Molokov scene. And in the room, I was playing it very genuine and very earnest. and Michael Mayer gave me the direction to play it as if I was lying to him. And it like really just unlocked the whole thing for me. And I think everyone in the room kind of felt the shift, and we were all kind of like giddy because it was very fun to play in that way. And I really love Michael Mayer. I think he's such an actor's director, and he really lets us go, and he will pull you back if it's not what he wants, but he lets you go, and I appreciate that. And I sang with Leah, and we sounded great together because I know how she sounds, so I know how to match her because I've listened to her for years. And then I kind of just like let it go. They had a whole other day of seeing Svetlana's, and I was doing a reading in the same building, so I could hear all the girls singing the songs,
Mm.
and and I just kind of let it go. And then I got the call not soon after that it was me, and I was very excited about it. And at that point, I had learned that I wasn't going to sing someone else's story, and I was like, great. I just get to like act and play. Amazing. And my husband and I, it was a beautiful summer, and we were walking through the city a lot. And we took one long walk, and we ran into Danny Strong on the street, and he was like, you have a song, right?" And I was like, "No, I had no idea." And he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna sing a new song." And so that was the first I learned of it. I had already signed my contract, and I was like, "Okay." And then we worked out "He Is a Man, He's a Child" in rehearsals. But it from the jump, I mean, I've said a lot that I like don't like singing and all that, and I know it could be like construed in a certain way. I have come back to having more of a love for singing. I think what I like about this is we change the keys and stuff. In "He Is a Man," everything else is the same, but we changed the key of "He Is a Man" to make me feel comfortable singing it 8 times a week, and now it's not something that stresses me out. So I've come to a much better relationship with singing than I was at before.
Wow, wow, that's good to hear. It's so. First of all, you sing your face off, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Thanks.
Uh, yeah, I mean, you really bring people in. I wanted to, for a sec, I spoke to Judy Kuhn, I think it was about 2 years ago, the genius that is Judy Kuhn,
Yeah.
about the tumultuous journey of chess and what she went through at the time. And, because someone else's story was actually written for her
Yes.
for Florence, and then it was then given to Svetlana in other incarnations, and it's just had. And I actually just spoke to Lena Hall last week, who was involved in
Yes.
this iteration, and so there's so much there. Why? This is a strange question. Why can't we get chess right? I wonder.
It,
Uh,
yeah, I don't even know if there is a right. I
mm,
think it's just like I love the way we end our show, and that Bryce says again, each game of chess means there's one less variation to be played,
yeah,
right? So he basically closes our show by being like, this is our version, on like there will be another.
yeah.
And because every game of chess is different. And so every production of chess is going to be different. And I don't know that anyone's ever going to get it right per se, but I think that each production will have things right.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah. So I kind of like that it's a living amorphous thing like that. I think
And
it's interesting.
it is interesting, and the one thing that your production certainly gets right are the absolutely astonishing performances.
Yeah. But it's some good people. They got some good people.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what time do you have to get there? Do you need to be there with everybody else, or are you allowed a little leeway?
I'm allowed a little leeway, which now at this point, I don't know if I'll be able to do a 2 act musical. It's been a while since I've been in 2 acts, and I don't know that I have the stamina, but I get there like as the show begins. Sometimes I'll get there like around Murano, and I get in, I like make my tea, I get in my undergarments and my robe, and I do my makeup. And so I take the whole act to get ready. I
Hmm.
get my wig on during Nobody's Side, and then like start dropping into Svet. But yeah, it is quite nice. Like on a day like today, on a 2 show day, like I don't have to get there till 2 o'clock, which
Nice.
gives me like the whole morning, which makes these days a lot easier for me. I do have to be at the theater for the rest of the day, so that's like a long, it can be a long day to be sitting around, but I try and find things to keep me occupied.
Well, we need to talk about Suffs because Suffs was my favorite show of the 2023-24 season.
Let's go.
Should have run long for okay. I'm convinced that had you guys done Great American Bitch on the Tonys, the show would still be running.
Listen, I don't know if you're wrong. I think it would have been I think Great American Bitch could have been really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That should have been your first Tony nomination, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean that. Seriously.
Thank you.
Seriously. I just did a rewatch because PBS had it up and
Yes.
I mean what an extraordinary show that I think too many people thought was just going to be this like maybe this political manifesto or
I
something,
know.
and it wasn't at all. You guys
I
were
know.
extraordinary. What looking back now, what was the experience like?
It's so interesting to look back. I when we sat and watched it at town hall, I was like shaking. I really the whole time it was an amazing watch. It wasn't difficult, but it was like very emotional in a way I was not prepared for. And my husband was like, "Now you understand." Like I've actually never seen my husband more emotional than after our first preview.
Hmm.
Because I don't think he was prepared. And he was like, "Hannah, it's magnificent. Like when those doors open and finish the fight and all the whole montage and shadows of the women are there." He was like, "I got like full body chills." And he came back and saw it so many times, and his my brother-in-law is a novelist, and he was so obsessed with the writing and the storytelling of it. And I got to like witness, because I've been inside of it for so long because I did it off Broadway. So I knew it was brilliant, but I think I couldn't really see it as a full picture.
Yeah.
And so getting to watch it, I was like, yeah, this is a great musical, perhaps the best musical. It's really good, and I
Yeah.
do think it was slept on in a lot of ways, and I hope that with the PBS broadcast that it will come to more people. And I know the tour has been doing really well. I was just talking to one of our producers, and she said people are loving it across the country and they want more of it. So that's good. I mean, sometimes people come to things a little bit late.
Yeah.
And I do think for an original musical with no existing IP, an 11-month run, a Grammy nominated cast album, two Tony Awards, and a national tour is pretty successful. Like, I still consider that quite successful. But yeah, I do think Suffs was slept on a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And those two Tony Awards, they were for book and score of a musical, which is basically the best musical.
Yeah,
Sorry, not
what makes a
sorry.
musical?
Right.
Those two
Exactly.
things.
Yeah.
But
And you were part at the ground level at the public, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I played Ruja at the Public, and then moved to Inez during workshops. But yeah, so I have seen it from a lot of different perspectives. But I love that show. I always will.
Yeah. And so a lot of your shows have political and social themes, even the connector in a way, which I
Yeah.
saw and thought was, fantastic as well. So you ever going to do like something that no, I'm joking. I know you're working on Merrily, which I want to talk about in a few. Um, but I wanted to ask you, when did you know that this was your calling, if you will?
I think, I mean, no, I don't think. I know it was, we went on a school trip to go see Gypsy and at the St. James, the Patti LuPone and Boyd Gaines and Laura
Uh,
Benanti revival. And up until that point, I was doing musicals all the time. And I knew that I wanted to audition for colleges, and I knew that that was my trajectory. But I do remember sitting in that theater and seeing what Patty was doing. And I hadn't seen anything like that up until then. And I was like, oh, I want to be just like that. That's who I want to be. And I like went on to do Gypsy in my high school that year and copied everything Patty LuPone did. Like I was so obsessed with her,
mm,
and still am to this day. And there was a few things that really hit me really hard. I saw Audra McDonald do 110 in the Shade. I remember that hitting me extremely hard. I saw Kristen Chenoweth do The Apple Tree at Roundabout, and that was like really formative for me. I saw a lot of theater, and so I got to see it as a career, and so there was never a doubt in my mind that I was going to do anything else. Like I never was like there was no backup for me. And I did. I auditioned at 10 musical theater colleges. My mom took me all over the country. And I got into one. I got into Emerson for acting, and then I got into Ithaca for musical theater. But I ended up deferring and going on tour with a non-equity tour of Legally Blonde, and and then I ended up not going to college. I just moved here, and I'm glad. There was a lot of years of not working and struggling here, but it happened at one point. So
That's absolutely fantastic. So tell me a little bit about Linklater's film version. I know you're playing Gussie, and you've filmed 2 times so far?
I filmed once. I
Once.
filmed 2 years ago, which is so crazy.
Mm.
And I'll film again this year. And we had a meeting earlier this year about. I'm guessing we'll have a meeting again soon because it's somewhat coming up. We film in December, but it's a big section. But we had a meeting, reading through the script and just talking about it conceptually a little bit. I'm really excited for this section. I feel more equipped this time around. I think the first time I was like a little kid, which is again why I think watching it is going to be so emotional eventually because I'll see myself as like this little kid basically at the end of it, and I think it's just going to be wild to watch. But we're shooting it on film. We shoot it about every 2 years. We shoot a section. I think at one point we have a longer break in there, but we'll see if that stays. And it's a great group of people. Rick is a really cool guy, and I learn a lot from watching him and from working with him, and I'm excited to continue. And also, Marilee is just like,
Mm.
it's pretty perfect. I've always wanted to do Sondheim, and so to get to do it in this way is pretty special.
I'm really, really excited. I know it's years and years away,
Yeah,
but
crazy.
I want to end by just speaking a little bit about I know him so well because you and Leah, there's such a connection there on stage. There's such a chemistry that you kind of don't expect initially because it starts out you're being down here and she's up here, and
Yep.
then you come together. What and the energy from the audience must be pretty phenomenal too. If you could speak a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was interesting building that number and building that scene. When we started the scene downstage on the deck, and then we sang the song up top. And then during previews, I think I was originally hesitant to this idea because I didn't like it at first, but Michael wanted to switch it and bring us on deck for the song, but I felt like it was too close to the audience. But now I agree with him, and there's a reason he's a director and I'm not. And I like that we end closer to the audience, but we always had a thing where we've seen I Know Him So Well a lot, and mostly it's them in their separate world singing. And yes, that is true. Like in reality, they're not singing to each other, but we just thought like one. I mean, this show does not pass the Bechdel test. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
It's about the men. That's fine. There are shows that are like that. But if we're gonna have two women on stage, I would like them to not just be like hating each other. I would like them to see themselves in each other and maybe learn a little bit from each other and commiserate a bit with each other. And we end the song understanding each other in a way that I think happens from like taking a moment and thinking about the other in your mind's eye and finding some sort of understanding with them. But we're in a musical, so we get to actually show that in real time. So I was so happy that we get to like look in each other's eyes and sing that together because it's one of my favorite parts of the show, and I love Leah and I love having that moment with her. Otherwise, my whole show is just like me screaming at the men. So I would like a moment with my friend. And yeah, I do. I look forward to it every night.
It's amazing, and honestly, it would have made such a great Tony moment. And
Yeah,
damn it,
I know. I know all the things that never will be, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine.
But we have the memory of them at least. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. And Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
Well, Hannah, I want to wish you all the great success. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do in all mediums from here on, having now absolutely adored you in both stuffs and in chess. Thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you for talking to me.